Welcome to all four of you, our group. We're glad to have you with us this morning, and do we have announcements?
Just a couple short things. The June Missions Committee meeting will be here at the church on June 7th at 9:30. And then I want to thank Pam Ridgway for gathering up all the goodies for the Sanford Center. She had a van load and delivering those. The cart's empty now, so you can start putting your goodies in anytime you want. Cereal, granola bars, juice boxes, any of that kind of stuff, and they'll be more than appreciated. They've got 3 long months of that this summer, so anything you feel free to donate, please do.
Got a couple announcements. First, oh, okay.
Just a quick announcement. I don't know if, while we have so many other people here today, I don't know if you knew Dick and Verly Owens. They were members here, big people in our community. Both of them passed away recently. We are going to have a big memorial celebration of life service on June 20th at 11 o'clock at West High Auditorium, and a pancake feed to follow. If anybody knew him or her and like to join us, it's June 20th at West High.
Okay, go ahead.
Wherever there's a mic, or my mic.
Well, you've
it's
got
working.
one.
There we go. Next Sunday is our ecumenical Pride Worship service, and 3 of the churches that are here are part of organizing that. There's a sign-up sheet because we need readers and leaders and people to do different things. And so in the narthex on the table, there's a sign-up sheet. There's a column for First Congregational, First Unitarian, and Mayflower, which are the 3 churches here that are part of that. So if you want to help with that, please sign up on that before you leave today. And then just for Mayflower, on Monday is our bylaws meeting. So since we don't have other reminder, I thought I'd tell you.
And just for those 3 of our churches that'll be at the Pride worship next, so we won't be holding worship services in our sanctuaries next Sunday. It'll be at the Sioux City Municipal Museum at 11 o'clock that we'll have services next week. So please keep that in mind. I want to thank Mayflower Congregational United Church of Christ, First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, and First Unitarian Church joining us, First Congregational UCC, in a 5th Sunday worship. It's good to see faces out here in which I'm less familiar with, but still, most of you I'm familiar with, even though I'm less familiar than with my own congregation. So thank you all for being here today. And our next 5th Sunday is going to be at the UU Church in August. So August will be the 5th Sunday, next 5th Sunday that we have. And then I think the Disciples of Christ will be in November. That'll be another 5th Sunday. So those 2 are coming up. So thank you all for being here. Just make mention for those of us who are readers today, we're going to be doing a polylog on the first 2 chapters of Genesis today. And that is all in your bulletin and with your names, the readers. So if you are a reader, please come up before you're reading. And we've got a chair here that we could open up for you to sit while the other person in front of you is reading. And that way we don't have much delay between the microphone, from one reader to the next. So that would be wonderful. Next, not this Monday, but the following Monday at 6 p.m. will be our Solidarity for a Better World potluck and discussion. So we don't have a topic quite yet. It's in rumination form right now. But anyway, it'll be June 8th at 6 p.m. Here at First Congregational. Any other announcements that anybody has? Yeah. Vote Tuesday. Yes, if you haven't done so already, vote Tuesday. This is primaries, so important to get our votes out. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, very good. Welcome to First Congregational United Church of Christ of Sioux City, Iowa, community of faith where you matter. God has created you to matter, and we believe that you do matter. You matter whether you are poor or rich, unknown or famous, sick or healthy, homeless, homebound, or having a home. You matter if 2S LGBTQIA+ fits your sexual orientation, as well as if it doesn't. For God made us all as we are, and we trust that loving people as they are is what really matters. You matter if you have a criminal record or if you've never been arrested. Single, married, neither of the two makes any difference on whether you matter to God or to us. You do. Welcome to this haven of hope where we always want you to know and to feel that you matter.
Please join me in the centering of our souls, and please stand if you're able. Creator God, maker of all things good and sacred, we are thankful for the blessings of diversity in this world of many wonders. We are grateful for the resources of food, water, sunshine, renewal, all creatures great and small, and for the way in which life on earth is considered. We know that our own creation stories are not the only creation stories. There are as many as there are cultures. Help us to understand these stories in ways that improve health and well-being on this earth for all species. And where these stories portray negative stereotypes of other parts of creation, inspire and encourage us to create better myths that will benefit us all. Inspire us to recreate Eden in our world, a civilization where there is enough for all, and where all things are shared with one another. Sustain us by the Spirit that reveals your virtues of love, peace, justice, kindness, generosity, and gentleness, that we may create a world that blesses all life on earth. Blessed may we be.
We're going to have two offerings today. So our regular offering, which will be announced a little bit later, but we on First Congregational has a noisy offering that we do, which we have pails and people can put in coins to make them noisy. That's the noisy offering. If you have green stuff as well and it's not noisy, that's fine too. But we just need to decide. We always make a decision in congregation of where we're going to send those foods. Let's not send it to the Sanford Center this time, because that's what our regular offering is going to be. Other suggestions of where we could send to a charitable organization here in our Siouxland area? The Soup Kitchen. All right. So our noisy offering today is going to be going to the Soup Kitchen. And do we have somebody help Ellen to take the noisy offerings around? Todd, you want to do that? Oh, okay. Very good. Simon's going to do that. Awesome. Very good. So the louder, the better. So the Soup Kitchen is going to thank us for our generosity today. Awesome. There we go. Rattle that. Noisy offering. Very good. Thank you so much for your generosity in that way. Our prayers here at First Congregational, we lift up not only our joys and concerns that we may have, but also any random acts of kindness or intentional deeds of compassion that we either witnessed, heard about, or participated in ourselves. So if you have any of those things, Ellen will get you a mic. Just raise your hand and she will... joys, concerns, as well as any acts of compassion or kindness. We really like to hear those acts of compassion and kindness. So let the good things happen in our community. But we're fine with all of the others.
We have the sister of Linda Kraft. Her name is Janelle. And she was in the hospital yesterday, needed 3 pints of blood, and that still didn't do it, so went into surgery. And through prayer, hopefully, everything is better now. But she is still battling ovarian cancer, so our prayers with Linda and Janelle. And I have an act of kindness. Someone came to our door yesterday, knew who we were, but apparently we didn't know him, but handed us... some steaks and a hamburger and stuff that he had just butchered.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yes, over here. Okay.
Yeah, I have a sister-in-law that was just diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I wanted to have prayers for her. Her name is Dawn.
Dawn? Okay.
Steps into that. Well, I didn't see you didn't have your hand up.
On Tuesday, when we were at Culver's for our AC fundraiser, a gentleman pulled me aside and said, "Is anyone here from the church? I have something for you." And he stuck a $500 check into the offering.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful.
So a colleague of mine, Dr. Rodney Dean, passed away this week. Some of you may know him. He's a pretty highly respected psychiatrist in Sioux City. His funeral is going to be this Thursday at Meyer at 7 o'clock.
All right. Thank you for telling us of that.
Our global ministries of the UCC and the disciples asked us to pray this week for the Protestant church in East Timor, and that's on an island there in Indonesia. But the church there is providing Christian education in a remote village, and with the help of our ministries, the children and young adults are becoming capable and knowledgeable and taking leadership in their community and church and state. So we can say thanks be to God.
Indeed. Thank you, Bob. Put on Pod's mic.
I have about three things I'm thankful for, but in a painful way. This Wednesday, I lost a really dear friend. My dog passed away. That was a hard one, just coming home. And 17 years she greeted me, and now she's so quiet in the house compared. So that's a loss, but also just that I got 17 years with such a good friend. And also this week, it just happens that Alexia came from Germany. She was our host daughter, and she's going to be flying back, so safe travels, but it's been great to see her. And also just I'm thankful for, I saw Ann and Donna and Rex and Maria, Brett and Carolyn. I think we're all there at the Les Hills Prayer Seminar. Just thankful for all of the people over the last 50 years that have taught, celebrated the hills and the prairie. And so that was wonderful last night. So just a lot of Thanksgiving, but yeah.
I guess I do have one. We're having our final ever chamber music concert this afternoon at 2 o'clock at First Presbyterian. It's a tribute to Gary Fridley, who taught orchestra and was on the symphony for a long time. He died last October, I think. But we're doing a tribute concert for him this afternoon, and it's free, so if anybody wants to come, should be pretty good music.
Where's that at?
First Presbyterian.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
2 o'clock.
All right.
First, kindness was shared with me yesterday, a video of a concert. I don't know where these women are, but they're called the Common Women Chorus, and one of Deanne's family members is in the chorus. I listened to part of it this morning, and it moved me to tears. It is hope-giving and life-giving, but also talking about the struggles that we have in daily life at the moment. And then I forgot my other joy. Okay, that was it.
And I just want to give oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Right beside you, Ellen.
I too lost a dog on March 6th, a little white dog, and the people sitting next to me had the mother of this dog, which they gave to us, and he was 13 years old when he passed away. Our house isn't quite as quiet, though, because we still have a cat. But anyway, they gave me this pendant, which has a nice little saying about your friend for life, and it has a little paw print on it. So I'm very grateful to them for doing that.
Thank you. All right. And I'll just mention, last night we had game night, and some of you I know were there, but we had a nice group of people, and we were playing, we started out with 3 games, but I think some of those actually went over into other games as well. So we had a really, really nice evening, and I think that was just a kindness of all of us to each other and the way that we were laughing together and enjoying that time. So thank you all who showed up. And as every 5th Sunday that we had, there'll be a game night hosted by the church that is hosting the Sunday the evening before. So remember those game nights as well. All right. Well, thank you all for those sharings, and let us be in silent meditation. Oh, wait, we've got one more back in the very back.
I'm Jesse. This is my wonderful daughter Harper, and she got a really good hit at softball at the big tournament yesterday. So quite a joy. And tied the game for her team, their first non-losing game.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much. Let us be in silent meditation as we take our hearts to God. Oh God, we're thankful for the beauty of this season. As the weather is warming, as the sun is shining longer, we are grateful for the opportunity to be outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. But we're also thankful for the beauty of 4 congregations coming together this morning to join in worship. We ask your blessings upon us. May your Spirit abide in each of our hearts, minds, and souls, and help us from the inspiration that we've received today, to go out into the world and to do goodness in whatever ways that we can. We ask your special blessings with all of those who are mentioned in our prayer requests. Watch over those families and persons that they may be blessed in body and in spirit. And for all who may know them, blessings to them as well. We're grateful for these times, O God, in which we can let the goodness within us spread to others so readily. In this time in which we have the opportunity to have more contact with our neighbors and with people that we see as more people are outside, we're grateful for these opportunities to share with one another and to bring a smile to each other's face. For those places in which there are not smiles, where there may be tragedies or war or also genocides in this world, we pray especially for those areas, that those violences that are committed against people may cease from not only their countries but from the world as a whole. We pray for peace for all lands, all peoples, all creatures, great and small. All these things we do pray in the name of Christ. Amen.
Please join in the unison prayer from the New Zealand Book of Common Prayer. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God, in whom is heaven, the hallowing of your name echo through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. May it be so. Our hymn is All Things Bright and Beautiful, number 31 in the black hymnal.
We can have the first two readers to come up forward now, and then we'll just, as it's in the bulletin, to come up as somebody else is speaking. Please make sure that you're willing to do that. We're going to read through the two chapters of Genesis. Listen closely. There's two creation stories in these two chapters. A lot of people don't recognize that there are two creation stories, but there are. They're very different. They were created at different times and by different authors, and so they have a little bit of difference about them, so pick up on those things as well as any similarities. So at this time, reading of Genesis chapters 1 and 2.
In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters.
Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness was called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day.
And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day.
And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together were called seas. And God saw that it was good.
Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day.
And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day.
And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures. Let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky." So God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day.
And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth of every kind. And it was so. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good.
Then God said, let us make humankind pardon me, I got the wrong section here. Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth.
So God created humankind in God's image. In the image of God they were created. Male and female, God created them. God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth."
God said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so.
God saw everything that God had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their multitude. And on the seventh day, God finished the work that God had done. And God rested on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work that God had done in creation.
The second creation story. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. In the day that the Creator God made the earth and the heavens, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for the Creator God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no one to till the ground, but a stream would rise from the earth, and water the whole face of the ground. Then the Creator God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being.
And the Creator God planted a garden in Eden, in the east. And there God put the man whom God had formed out of the ground. The Creator made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
A river flows out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divides and becomes 4 branches. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Tigris, which follows east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Creator God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and keep it.
And the Creator God commanded the man, "You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall die."
Then the Creator God said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper as his partner." So out of the ground the Creator God formed every animal of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. The man gave the names to all the cattle, and to the birds of the air, and to every animal in the field. But for the man there was not found a helper as his partner.
So the Creator God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. And the rib that the Creator God had taken from the man, God made into a woman and brought her to the man.
Then the man said, "This at last is the bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of man this one was taken. Therefore a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his wife, and they become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed."
Let's give our readers a hand. Thank you, readers. So a polylogue, it really is just a discussion. It's a dialogue amongst many people, not just a couple people. And so what we're going to do is just, if you have a question or a comment, just raise it. Anybody can answer the question. Jacqueline and I will certainly try to do part of that. But if anybody else has an answer to any question or just a response to a comment that anybody makes. We have 4 different congregations here, so it should be a really fun experience in hearing the different views and such. And so I look forward to our first and every question and comment after. Who has the first? Don't make me go first. Yep, back in the back. Well, we'll get a mic to you.
I was wondering if anyone would care to compare and contrast, or perhaps combine, the theory of evolution with this.
Oh, interesting. I'm not an expert on evolution, but do you want to say, I can respond in a little different way. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Kind of a two-parter. One thought being that, in my mind, the Bible, having been written by men versus a deity, it is our way of understanding science. It is our simple lizard brain ability to understand the world around us, when in actuality we are as much animal and creepy creatures as everything that God created, and are not in actuality separate in any way, shape, or form other than consciousness. And that could even be debated with some animals.
All right. Very good. All right. And for any of you might afterwards, if you haven't found it already, but on the First Congregational United Church of Christ Facebook page, I've written like a commentary to each of these passages that you're welcome to take a look at. But one of the things that I point out, really the thing that I kind of reiterate a little bit again in different parts of this whole two-story thing, is that the people back there weren't scientific. They didn't have the scientific methods that we have today. And so when they spoke of creation stories and other sorts of things, they were more concerned with what a story could be that would be meaningful to people, regardless of if it had any relevance to facticity whatsoever. So it's more this sense of the mythopoetic mind, which is what our ancestors mainly had when talking about religion, or even things in which they might claim as, this is the way it is. It was more mythopoetic, which is suggestive, not this is the way it is, this is the facts, this is what we know. That's what science would do, but not a mythopoetic mind. And so one of my favorite quotes is by Dominic Crossan, who says, we think ourselves more intelligent than our ancestors, but they actually created these myths. We now interpret them as myths when that's the way they meant them to begin with. And so it's a really interesting dynamic where we become much more literal than the people who are our ancestors. So I just have you all keep that in mind as well. Other thoughts? Yeah.
So one thing that intrigues me is the in the beginning phrase, which I understand actually means that it's really a description of when God began to mess around with the earth. The earth was already there. So there's really no indication that this God created the entire universe. Of course, the people that wrote it didn't know there was a universe. They only knew that there was the earth. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting too, and a lot of people don't recognize this, but there were many different conceptions of God way back when, just as there are now. So, there's all kinds of ideas about who God is or what God is, or even if there is a God. So there's all that, but that dialogue was happening way back when as well. Now, what we see in the Bible was a particular branch of thought, which is more about supernatural theism, which you can look that term up and such, but that's kind of where a lot of the authors were. But there were some authors in the Bible that were not supernatural theists whatsoever. So it's really interesting to know that was happening way back when as well as it does now. Yeah. Up front here, Ellen. You just kind of show up.
As far as creation and the evolutionary theory, as was demonstrated early this morning when the Thunderbird flew over, spilling the lake of water from his back and the lightning from his eyes and screaming the thunder. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
That these creation stories are also written in response to other creation stories to set themselves, for a group of people to set themselves apart from what has already been written of how things were created. And I think it's interesting in regards to evolution and the first creation story, that I think it's interesting how it does follow a little bit the line of how evolution also things evolved and came about. And I like to think that is our very old brain that remembers things that, from way before we ever were, for some people anyway, that we're creative enough to write these things.
Is it on? Oh, it's on now, yeah. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall die. So he's kind of more of a grandma style of, I'm going to kill you, but instead I'll just kick you out of the house when you misbehave with Adam and Eve, is what I'm getting out of this, right? So instead of being like, hey, I'm going to kill you, he just kicks Adam and Eve out and is a little more compassionate, so grace and understanding.
Yeah. You want
Well, I think so too. I think the writers, and many of us, we tell our kids, I'm going to kill you if you do that, which we're never going to kill our kids, most likely. Most of us don't. So I think it's a threat bigger than the actual action. And then when it came push to shove in the story, instead of killing the first two humans, then they're sent out of the garden and given grace, and also taken care of. Clothes were made for them, etc., which is after this part that we read today. The other thing, as you mentioned, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they were told not to eat from it. But they were never told not to eat from the tree of life, which later becomes a worry in the story, which is part of why they need to be kicked out of Eden, because they might be eating from that tree, but they were never forbidden. So I thought that was interesting too.
Now, I have quarrels with this text. And I think one of the most overlooked verses in all the Bible is, I think it says 5 times, it is good. And I've always focused, I think the Christianity has really lost track of the goodness of the earth. It says very good too, by the way. And somehow we've got into this like heavenly mentality that the real thing is the next life. That's really what matters. And this one, just whatever. And so I think that's revolutionary. If you really think this is good, that means each one of us is good too, and because we're parts of creation. So that's transformative. But I was caught by this phrase that says before that. I never focused on that. It says, and God saw that it was good. I've always focused on the and it's good thing. But God looked at nature. And I was just thinking about how we look at nature. We do it in such an industrial model. Like, we have to get in the car, we have to pack our bags, we have to go to Yosemite, that's where we're going to see God, And I think God looked at it and saw that the whole thing, even when your dog dies, as bad as that is, that the whole system, like my dog's ashes, is going to go down there by the creek. And I bet you something blossoms out of those ashes. And so the whole thing is, and how do we see it like God? And I think that's what spirituality is really how do we see the goodness all around us, and not just in Yosemite.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, one of the things that I think is really important, one, these two accounts don't agree with each other. So the first account says that everything, goes through a list. Everything is created and it's all good. Second one doesn't say anything's good at all, which is interesting. It doesn't say that it's not good, but it just doesn't, it's not the same emphasis. And we notice too, that there's a difference between how God is portrayed in the first story, which is much more egalitarian, and that everything is good and everything is equal, versus the second story where God is in control of everything and God creates humans first, not last, as in the first story. So there's all this, really the second story was created, in my estimation, as a repudiation of the first one. But I think the first one's best. So anyway, just want to, throw some of that out there. If you didn't catch it yourself. Over here, first here, but then we've got over there. Okay.
So as I really like the second creation story, but I think as you look at it in a mythopoetic sense, what part of reality is this trying to constrain? And it is focused on humans. What is special about humans? What is interesting about us, and what is the tree of knowledge of good and evil? And to me, the root of that is that we arose up from nature with a consciousness that then, works to sit above nature or outside of it. And to me, that's what this story explains, is that we at some point lived in harmony with nature in the Garden of Eden, and we were without death because we did not realize that we died. We were part and parcel with the entire circle of life. And then at some point in our history, we arose up and became aware that we are dying, and aware that we can make ourselves more comfortable, and aware that we can, we develop a social technology of morality to say that, hey, you killing that guy makes me upset, even though, such things happen all the time in nature. And once we achieve that ability of thought and consciousness, we can never really return. We are shunted out of Eden, of living in total harmony with nature, and we are imprisoned in our own minds, in our own knowledge. That's what keeps us from returning.
Yeah. There. And
I
while
think-
you're going to go ahead, Jacqueline.
In the second creation story, which I do like those elements that you brought up, but in our modern translation, I think also one thing gets lost, because in the original creation, it doesn't talk about a male and a female. It talks about a being that is split into two beings with names that complement each other. And I think the whole binary male-female is not doing justice to the original story as it was written, and that gets lost in our English, but also many of the other, in the Dutch translation, all the other translations too.
Excuse me, in line with what the other gentleman was saying, I have a question or maybe an issue about, I think it's in both of the stories, of the use of the word dominion, that man has dominion over the earth. I've heard that expressed with some of my own family members as, we have the power over, we can do whatever we want with because we have dominion. Or does it mean we have stewardship? We have stewardship, and it's our responsibility to make sure that everything stays in balance and in harmony. So I don't know that I would use the word dominion, because I'm not sure everyone has the same perception of what that word means.
Yeah,
It's construed.
The scholars themselves are really at odds with one another with regards to what dominion means. I like the version where it's that it's not dominion as in controlling, but rather that caretaker. But that dominion word is only used in the second story, not the first. Yeah, and this is what's one of the things that's really different between the two stories, is that in the first story, humans are created absolutely last, the very last thing, as almost like they're an afterthought. And it doesn't say right after they're created that they're good either. So it does a little bit later include them with the entire set of all creation that was good. But if you'll notice, after everything is created, it was created good. It's created good. Immediately after humans were created, it is not said in the first story that they're good. But in the second story, it's not said at all that anything is good. And that's where dominion shows up. And so we see in the first story a much more egalitarian understanding of how creation is supposed to interact with each other, and a more authoritarian in the second story. So in the second story, it's, we're to control, we're to dominate, we are to, and quite honestly, while I like the scholars who say, well, this really means caretaking, I actually happen to think that they probably meant it the other way, of more dominating and creating. I don't like that interpretation, but I'm just being honest with what I think was probably the case. So I think that's part of our struggle, is just like these two stories are having contrasting views of reality, and we see this throughout the Bible. One book is written, and then a little bit later another one, not so sure about that. And so that's really what our faith tradition tells us, not that everything in the Bible is literally true and that we ought to accept it as inerrant, but rather that we need to struggle with it and question it and to ask questions with one another so as to create meaning and purpose in our lives right now. Because that may change from time to time. 2,000, in this case, probably 3,000 plus years ago, that this stuff was originally written down. Not to, however long it was before that orally. All that's changed over the eons and such. And they had this idea that there's a dome in the sky. There's no dome in the sky, but that's the way it looked to them. All these things in which they didn't know that we do, and things that they knew that we don't. They were much closer to the earth than we were, so they probably had some insights in which we don't have today. Over here. And then after that, Michael is raised his hand.
So the other difference, I think, between the first story and the second story is God in the first story is kind of distant from what he created, kind of a little bit disinterested maybe. And in the second story, he's not only interested, he's walking around in the garden with them, so that's the other side of that. The other thing that I think we miss is that in the first story, we're all supposed to be fruitarians, and all the animals are supposed to just eat vegetables and not supposed to eat each other.
Get changed until the 9th chapter of Genesis. So everything's vegetarian for the first 8 chapters. Chapter 9 changes that. Wonder why, but in any case, that's a good point to mention.
Going back to the idea of this word dominion, my thought on it is that whether we like it or not, humankind does have dominion. We have a great and terrible power to, make the world better or worse. Like, we have within our power, the ability to totally destroy our ecosystem. And, that is dominion. That's power. And we're not the first, organism to have such dominion. The megaflora that we use to power our cars, that's had, devastating ecological, impacts when they were in dominion. But yeah, it's it reminds me of in the book East of Eden, which is kind of talking about Cain and Abel. There's this idea of thou shall, and then the interpretation to thou mayest, go out and you get to choose, basically, thou mayest. And so we have all this power, this terrible power, and we, have to choose to do, what is good.
Yeah. I'm going to limit us to one more question that I see in the back there, because I looked at the time and I'm working. We're having so much fun that I totally lost track of time. But in any case, one more in the back, the gentleman in the black shirt.
This is fun, and I think I can safely speak for the whole church when I say thank you so much for hosting us cantankerous Unitarians. My question is this, and it is a question, and I beg for a potentially uncomfortable, plain answer. My question is, I hear talk of science, I hear talk of progress of knowledge, I hear talk of multiple stories, disagreeing scholars, I see the giant cross. I see the rainbow flag in the hallway. My question is, what does this church believe at this time as the Bible teaches and the creation story and Christ? What does this church affirm is true?
Which church are you speaking of now?
The church in which we currently sit.
Okay, all right. So I'll be the first to answer for all of my congregation that everybody's going to have a different point of view. So I don't think there's probably a congregant that I have in this church that has an identical theology. I would very much doubt that. And that's part of the United Church of Christ system, is that we are not a top-down organization. Like the UUs as well, and the Disciples of Christ both, you have a freedom of conscience to be able to make your own decision about what you believe, and nobody can tell you in a hierarchical system, this is what you have to believe. So all of our churches actually are the same in that basic tenet. So I can tell you, and I'm not going to speak for anybody from this church now because I don't want, but I can speak from previous churches that I've served, is I've had anyone from atheists to, evangelical. And everything in between. And I've had people who are supernatural theists, some who are deists, some who are agnostics, some who, are more animism. I did have an animism person once in one of my congregations. And also things like pantheism and panentheism. So you can look at some of those terms, but there is a wide plethora of understandings of what the divine or God. Some prefer not even to say God in the congregations that I've served, but rather to speak of this divine or sacred reality. So Jacqueline can answer if she wants with regards to those that she's. But that's my experience.
Mine is the same, and in the disciples, it may vary a little less depending on also what church you're in. The Mayflower is the same. We all have a different theology. We think and think about God and creation and how all of this spiritual stuff works in different way. But I think the beauty in all of that is when we talk together like we do today, I know I'm enriched by the thoughts that were shared, and it opens up my spirituality and my connection with the divine, whatever that looks like or whatever that is. So I know for the disciples, and I know for Mayflower, that we do not tell people what to believe. So there's not one particular answer to your question. There is gazillions of answers to your question.
So we're going to have a fellowship hour after the service, and you're welcome to continue this conversation in our kind of library fellowship hall area afterwards. But now we'll turn to our next hymn, which is At the Dawn of Your Creation. This was created by a Presbyterian minister, Carolyn Winfrey Gillette, and it goes to the hymn of Joy, which I think all of you should be familiar with.
Generosity arises from gratitude, like heat arises from fire. Like fire, gratitude is lovely to see, but when it warms others with generosity, that is when it becomes a true blessing. We invite you to place your offering in the offering plate as is passed, or you may give online or by mail if you are joining us virtually. Thank you.
Please join me in the unison prayer of dedication. O God of Pentecost, breathe your spirit of understanding, love, and respect into our hearts and minds, that we may help create a world of peace. Let these monies that we give be multiplied in serving justice in our world. Bless us as givers, that we may be joyful and thankful in our giving. Bless those who are beneficiaries of these gifts, that they may have their needs supplied and their hope lifted. In the Spirit of Christ we pray. May it be so.
Hear these words of encouragement for your own spiritual journey. No matter how we were made, we are creatures of beauty and loveliness whenever we seek to bless more than we seek to gain. Go forth to let your beauty shine on all creation, and may loveliness flow from all of your thoughts and deeds. Now and always, blessings may you be. join with me in singing now. Let There Be Peace on Earth. It'll be on the board as well as in your bulletin.